What's up, guys? This is Teddy. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This video, we're going to be doing update request in ASP.NET Web API. And just like the other videos, let's go ahead and hop into our interface here and create our method signature in the interface. So we're just going to go here, type in category. And just like the create request, we're just going to be passing a whole entire object within this method signature right here, but it's not actually going to be created because technically this is, I guess, a fun trivia fact. And I think I maybe have mentioned this in another video already, is that interfaces don't actually really, quote unquote exist. They're not instantiated. They don't really even exist in your program. They're just kind of like a thing to bring in methods, so to speak. But we won't get too bogged down with the details. If you haven't already, make sure you get this save method here as well too. You don't have to have any of these other methods. If you're coming from another video, just make sure you have that save, because I'm going to be using that save in this repository right here. So just going to do a good old context.update and pass in this category just like this. And then we are going to return the save. And that's pretty much it for our repository. Repositories for update requests are going to be very simple, but for actual controllers, they're going to be more complicated. So we don't have another controller that we can copy, so we're just going to go here. We're going to go HTTP put. We're going to go category ID. And we're going to do produces response type 400. Produces response type 204. Just regular response type. Then we're going to do produces response type 404. That's going to be it for that one. So public I action results update category. And we're going to go int category ID. We're going to go from body category DTO. Then we're going to go updated category. Just like that. So this one, the category update request is actually going to be relatively simple. There's not going to be any instances where you're going to have to update any complex models. It's just going to be, in this case, just the you're just going to be updating the one model, and that's pretty much it. And update requests really aren't that much different from create request, in that it's just that you're updating an actual record. With creating, it just kind of sounds the way it is that when you're creating, you're actually creating an entity, or you're creating a database, or a database record. But with update, you're actually, updating a record that's already there. So if it does not exist, we're going to go not found, just like that. And then if model state dot is valid, we're going to return bad request. Then we're going to go var category map is equal to mapper.map category. And we're going to put in our updated category from our input right here. So go down, and we're going to go if category repository dot update category category map. We're going to pass in our category map. Then we're going to go down here. We're going to go model state dot add model error dot, and if it does not save or it is false, because we have this negation, it's called a, I think it's called a negation, or some people call it a bang operator. It's going to flip that to the opposite. So if something went wrong updating category, then return status code. We're gonna go model state. Then we're gonna go return no content. No content, not context. Great. So go into our mapping profile here. Let's see. And I actually was testing this before, so we are going to have our category. This is the one that you need right here. So if you don't have this yet, make sure that you put this into your mapping profile. So category DTO and category. Just remember that if you're updating, you're going to need to be cognizant of the order. So this one, the category is first and then the category DTO is second. But when you're updating or you're creating, just imagine that the DTO is always going to be first. So if that's the way that you have to remember it, just remember it like that. Okay, and let's go ahead and test it. So bring Swagger over to here. Let's check out what our categories look like first. So we have electric, water, string, Ratata. So let's update the Ratata to, so 7 was Ratata, and you need to put the 7 into the ID too. And if the 7 we had, let me see here. So we have validation. So if the 7s don't match, it's going to give you a model state error. So just be aware of that. And then we will call this one, I don't know what other, I think there's rock. So we have a rock type Pokemon. Let's see if it updates. And yep, we have a 204 response. So no content. So whenever you do an update with, 204 is going to be the response that you usually get, and that means no content. So you could just have this return an OK that says success, but it's totally up to you. You don't have to, but if you want to, you could do it as well. Okay, so now we're going to go to, up next is country. So let's go ahead and let's update our country interface. We're gonna go bool update country. Go country. Just literally the same thing as our create country. We got a red squiggly. We gotta implement our interface. And just like the other ones, we're gonna go context.update. We're gonna go country, and we're going to return save, just like that. Make sure that looks good. Go into our category controller, and we can copy this so we don't have to actually go through all the rigmarole of typing all this out, because it is kind of a pain to type all this stuff out. Okay, so we're going to go up here, make sure that you update your HTTP put to that variable. You could leave this. Would not recommend that though, because it's kind of terrible coding practice. So country DTO, updated country. And let's just go through here. Paste this. It's going to be country ID. So country ID. And then go up here. Paste that in there. Paste that in there. Country. 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 Update country. Update country. Updated country. Country exists, so we can do our validation. And that looks good. I don't think there's anything else. Country is a very simple model. Also, make sure that you go into your mapping profile and have your country DTO and your country for your create map before you actually start it. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Then go into our Pokemon. And hopefully this starts. Okay, there we go. So our put is showing up. We're going to go to our country. Let's see what countries we have first. So see which one we can change. So we'll change United States of America. We'll change this one to just USA. Or actually, let's change it to Europe for all the... There's a lot of people in the UK that watch my videos, so we'll change it to Europe. Not everything has to be about America. All right, so we'll go 5. There's probably some people in America that are like, oh God, has to be about America. But, all right. Europe. Okay. And we got a 204 back. We got our no content back, so that is a updated controller. Next one is going to be the owner controller, and the owner controller is going to be pretty much the same thing. It's going to be a simpler one. The more confusing ones are going to be the Pokemon, but just remember that the owner controllers are going to be pretty easy. So we're just going to go here. We're going to go update owner. Then go into our owner repository. So context, we're going to go update. We're going to toss in that owner object. We're going to return save. Just like that. Easy enough. Then we're going to go into our country controller. Just right here. We're going to toss in that owner. So update owner. Owner ID, we need to update that or else it's going to give us a really crazy error. Then we're going to have this owner DTO. Updated owner. Updated owner. Then we're going to go over here. We're going to copy this one. So Control C, or however you want to do it. Throw that in there. And then we need to go into here do our owner repository. Owner exists. Let me change that to owner. Okay, I thought I was going to give it an error. I was like, what's going on? So then we need an owner. We need to turn this to owner map. And I think that looks good. Remember, go into your mapping profile and create the owner DTO and map it to owner. If you only have the owner one like down here, you're going to get an error because you need to be aware of which way that you're mapping them. So let's see all the owners that we have. And let's change this one to change number 1 to Brock Jim. I don't know the guy's actual name. So 1 Brock Pokemon Gym. And I forgot which gym he was in. I think he's in Millet Town or Saffron City. No, that's Saffron City is Misty. Cause she has Misty. Cause she has the Staryu. And we get a 204, which is exactly what we want. We want that no content. Great, so that one's working too. Next one's gonna be kind of a doozy. It's the Pokemon, and the Pokemon has kind of like a bunch of complex relationships. So we are going to get our hands dirty with this one. This one's gonna not confusing, but it's just gonna be more intense. So we're gonna have pretty much the same structure of our signature as the last one up here. So Pokemon. Then we're gonna go up here, we're gonna implement our interface. Go here, bring in our context, update Pokemon, then return save. Go down to our controller. We can copy the owner controller, but we're gonna have to add more stuff to it. So go in here. Okay, then we're just gonna pass in our PokeID. And so update Pokemon. So int PokeID. And Pokemon DTO. Then updated Pokemon. Updated Pokemon. Paste. 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 Paste that. Change that to Pokemon. change that to PokeID, change that to PokeID. On repository. Pokemon exists. Pokemon repository. Updated Pokemon. And we're going to do Pokemon map. Pokemon map. And because we have to bring in, okay, so go up here. We'll bring this down. And right here, we got to bring in these repositories. So go up here, and we're going to have to bring in a bunch of them. So we're going to have to bring in the owner repository. And we're also going to have to bring in, okay, so we have the Pokemon repository, and we also need to bring in review repository. Review repository. So great. So put underscore right there, and we also need, I think that's it. Let me go back down and look at it. Okay. Hold on. Okay, we're still gonna need those, but we're actually gonna need those later. So we still leave those repositories up there, but we're gonna need those in the delete request. We actually don't need them in our update. For the update, let's put from query int owner from query, then we're going to have int cat ID. You could call that category too if you want to. And let's just actually bring this down because this looks like doo-doo. And then pass in these up here. So we're going to go owner ID is equal to cat ID. And that actually should do it. We could make it so that you could bring in the owner ID and the categories through the repository, but I think in this case, it just depends. Sometimes it's easier just to pass in the actual data yourself through the API, and sometimes it makes sense to try to bring in the data through a repository to complete that database transaction. But in this case, I actually think it works out a little bit better to do the update with just through query strings. So make sure you go into your mapping profiles in that you have your Pokemon DTO to Pokemon mapping profile. So we're loaded up right here. Make sure the stream's still doing good. And then for our Pokemon, okay, so something's wrong right here. And I have a pretty good idea. You shouldn't have these two you shouldn't have these two. You should only have one. So let me go back and see what happened. Let's take out this. I have two of those there, and I really don't need both of them. So let's take out that one, and or I think actually I don't think that's the best way to do that. I think the best way is to just take out the from query. I think pretty sure that's the reason it's doing that, and I'm just going to go ahead and restart it. And I think that's okay. When I went in backspace like that, it deleted all that up there. So we're going to have to put that back. Not a big deal though. That was quick. Great. So our Poke ID, we could just take ones for all these. And so it's going to update the, let me just show you what's going to happen. So it's going to update this Poke, it's going to update Pikachu. It's going to update Pikachu's first category. So it's going to update Pikachu's, it's going to update Pikachu with the #1 category, and then it's going to update the owner, I think. Yeah, the owner. And it's going to update the owner as Misty. And we'll call this Pokemon, just call it Mewtwo. And great. Came back, no content. On to reviewer. So reviewer review is going to be, our interface is going to be really simple. So go down to, let's actually do reviewer first, since it's just kind of the next one. And IntelliSense is going to pick that up for us. Thank you, IntelliSense. You are awesome. Go to our reviewer. We're going to implement this interface. So update the context, update reviewer. Then we're going to return save. And we can just go in and copy the reviewer from the owner ID controller. Since the reviewer controller isn't terribly complicated, the Pokemon controller is very complicated, but this one's not really. So we're going to go update reviewer, int reviewer ID, reviewer ID, reviewer DTO, go here, make that DTO, updated reviewer, updated reviewer, reviewer, reviewer map, viewer map, viewer repository, reviewer repository. Reviewer. And that should be it. Make sure that your mapping profiles, like I said, always make sure you got that reviewer DTO first. Let's fire it up. Let's see if it works. For some reason, this thing's taking forever today. I don't know what's going on. It wasn't like this yesterday. So let's go down here. This is a pretty simple one. We can take a look at our reviewer. So we'll go here, first name, last name. So we'll change the first name and last name to, let's see, first name, last name. Change it to Ash Ketchum. The OG. And that's it. Wait a second. I think we have one more. Yeah, we still have to do the review. Review's easy. We can just go through, do the review real quick. Update review. So we'll go review. It's equal to review. Go in here, not our controller. We need to go into our repository. We get a red squiggly. We're going to implement that interface. So we're going to go context, update, throw in our review, return, save. I think that's it. Yeah. So we're going to go into our review controller, and we can just copy our reviewer. So got that, create, got to create there. We go down. Because this one's so similar, you can just backspace it. This is super convenient. And I think that looks good. Also, make sure you go into your mapping profile. Make sure you have that review DTO. That's an important part, or otherwise you'll get an error. Hopefully this works. I need to look into what is causing this to take so long to boot up. Usually it doesn't take this long. Usually it fires up in no time. So, looks like something happened with our reviewer. Let me go back and take a look at that. So reviewer, I think I accidentally deleted it. That's weird. Good thing it was still there. Just a strange error. I have no idea why that was. So the last one that we made was the review. We're gonna load it. We'll go in here. We're gonna change number 1. So make sure your ID's 1. Go Pikachu is the best. I love Pikachu. Pika. I would never say that in real life. It's not good for a 30-year-old man to be saying that. Uh-oh. Update review. P is invalid. Start a value. Update review. Updated review field is required. Okay, so we're going to have to go in and troubleshoot where this is occurring at. So this is kind of maybe not a strange error. So we'll just go in here. We're gonna have to restart. It seems to be a model state error. So one Pikachu Pika. Go give it a rating of 4. It's gonna hit that breakpoint, so go in here. Review exists. Model state. We're gonna check our model state. Our model state is valid. Then we're going to go into our update review. See what's going on inside of it. It does save it. And that's strange. I literally have no idea why that last error occurred, but it seems to be working, so guess it works. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and as always, thank you for watching.